This does not mean that you need to limit the amount of sex you have. It just means you need to get in touch with your body and learn to have orgasms without ejaculating. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Jonathan White. I'm here to help you master your sexual energy so you can magnetize your ideal life. Make sure you grab my free ejaculation control guide. There's a link in the video description below. So today I want to talk about non-ejaculatory orgasms for men, and specifically, what does a non-ejaculatory orgasm feel like? Guys are often asking me, you're always talking about these non-ejaculatory orgasms, but what are they like and how are they different from ejaculatory orgasms? So it's important to know, as you may or may not be aware, men can have orgasms without ejaculating. Men can have many, many orgasms without ejaculating. They can have powerful, full body orgasms that are much more satisfying, in my experience, than an ejaculatory orgasm. Now, why would you want to do this? First of all, when a man ejaculates, there's a recovery period, this refractory period. The body has to recover because hormonal changes happen. The body loses energy with every ejaculation. When you think about it, it's like when you're having sex, when you're at maximum arousal, when you're close to that point of ejaculation, you're at this point of high energy, high arousal. You're absolutely pumping with energy, pumping with blood, right? And then you ejaculate. How do you feel 20 seconds after that? You feel limp. You feel tired. You often feel fatigued. Most guys want to roll over and fall asleep. You may even feel depressed after ejaculating because you've lost energy. You've lost something. It takes a lot of resources for the body to create sperm. So it's not ideal for men to be ejaculating frequently. This does not mean that you need to limit the amount of sex you have. It just means you need to get in touch with your body and learn to have orgasms without ejaculating. Therefore, you have complete choice over if and when you're going to ejaculate, so you can last for much longer in bed. And most of all, you don't ever have to experience that recovery period from an ejaculation if you choose. So there's many different types of non-ejaculatory orgasms that men can have. The most common type that people talk about is basically where you get to the point of no return. You hit the point where you start to go into that ejaculatory type of orgasm, but you squeeze the pelvic floor muscles. And this causes, you still have those kind of spasms in the prostate area. You have kind of that orgasm, but without the ejaculation involved. Now, this is not the main method that I practice. This is not the main method I teach either, because in my experience, this is still a relatively weak, very genital-centered orgasm that is very short-lived. I'm talking about a more energetic, full body type of orgasm. It's basically what's known as a valley orgasm. So this is quite different than the ejaculatory peak orgasm. The peak orgasm is what 99% of men have only ever experienced. They've never experienced anything more the peak type of orgasm, this explosive genital-centered orgasm that discharges their energy, and it only lasts about 10, 15 seconds maximum, right? It's very, very short-lived. It is intense, but it's short-lived and it drops your energy levels. You're done after that, at least for a little while. So this valley orgasm is different. It doesn't have as sharp of a peak to it. So it's not like, bam, I'm there. Oh, this is intense, and then bam, it's over. It doesn't have that sharp beginning, short middle duration, and sharp finish. The valley orgasm is a bit more, it's more like a state of orgasm. It's more like a constant state, like this deep, full body pulsation of energy. So it starts out very subtle. It's easy to overlook in the beginning. An important aspect of this to know is that most men tend to overstimulate themselves during sex, during sexual activity, even during masturbation by, thrusting away frantically, overstimulating the penis by over-obsessing with sexual thoughts, because this causes sexual tension to build up much quicker than your overall arousal does, actually, or your body's orgasmic capacity anyway, we could say. So overstimulating yourself to reach this sharp orgasm very quickly before you actually build up most of a sexual charge. So as you ejaculate, you release the charge, and it's not even very built up most of the time, so it's a very limited experience. So what these valley orgasms feel like, I'll do my best to explain it. It's kind of hard to put this stuff into words because this is a much more energetic, full body experience. For me, first of all, getting into it requires a deep state of relaxation. I'm not going to get into how to do it in this video. I have another video called How to Have Non-Ejaculatory Orgasms. You can check that out. But it takes relaxation. It takes being aware of your arousal level and not getting too aroused too quickly, basically. Again, men tend to have this porn conditioned approach of just thrusting away frantically, trying to reach this point of maximum pleasure, but that doesn't give the body time to build up enough of a sexual charge to really have a fulfilling orgasm. So when I have this full body orgasms, I usually start to feel it first in my belly area. there's a major energy center here known as the dantian. So it's almost like this butterflies in the stomach sort of sensation. So you can imagine that when you're just about to ejaculate, there's kind of that tingling, pleasurable sensation. It's similar to that, except for it's actually in the belly center. And this sensation starts to move throughout the entire body. So I'll start to feel it up my spine. I'll start to feel it in my heart center. My heart center may start to pulsate as well. I'll often start to feel it up in my brain as well. So my whole body's in this like butterflies, vibrating, pulsating, incredibly pleasurable sensation of energy. And again, it builds much more slowly than the ejaculatory orgasm. It's not just like an explosion, there it is, and then it's gone. It really builds into it. So it starts out very subtle. The first time I experienced this, it actually kind of freaked me out because it was like, whoa, this is a really intense, it's a very vulnerable, almost emotional type of quality to it, especially when you're with a partner who you're deeply connected to. It definitely requires a sort of trust and a sort of openness to be able to experience this type of orgasm. So there's a certain emotional opening. My whole body starts to pulsate. I feel my energy running through my microcosmic orbit, this channel up the back, down the front of the body. And it always feels a bit different. I've had it before where it felt like very similar to that feeling, again, when you're just starting to have an ejaculatory type of orgasm, where it's this intense pulsation of energy. But I felt it like in my brain, in my heart center, just this, and sometimes it almost feels like the energy is shooting up out of my crown, like expanding up into the universe. And oftentimes my awareness goes beyond my physical body. Sometimes I feel like I'm like dissolving into my partner, and I start to become very intuitive, like of what they're thinking, what they're feeling. It's like our thoughts, our feelings start to merge together. It's like our bodies are merging together, which is really what's happening during sex. But when you both open up into this deep orgasmic exchange, it becomes very, very intense. I've also had experiences where I felt like I was connecting to, I can only explain it as like connecting to higher bodies around me, like connecting to the body of the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, and just feeling that the subtle sexual connection, the orgasmic connection that's pulsating throughout the universe. So this is what happens when you start to get into these high energetic orgasmic states. You start to resonate with higher forces. Your awareness expands. And this is truly an experience of connection, an experience of oneness that a lot of mystical traditions describe, but you can get there with sexual cultivation. So it's a much different experience than the ejaculatory orgasm. For me, an ejaculation is like, obviously it's very limited to the genitals. It's intense, but it's just this, it's really feeling like something's shooting out of my body, and it's almost excruciatingly intense, right? Versus the full body orgasm, it's a little more gentle, it's less rough around the edges, and it doesn't have that sharp onset. It's more something that just kind of, again, it's just something that kind of starts to build, starts to intensify, and it becomes very, very intense often. I've had full body orgasms that lasted several minutes that were, 10 or 100 times more powerful than an ejaculatory type of orgasm. And the major difference here is that there's no release of energy. I think one of the reasons that an ejaculation is so addicting for men is that you release your energy. Your desire is gone. Your sexual arousal is completely gone. You have no more desire. And it's almost like a numbness to that. It's like an opiate type of sort of effect on men. And I think men find that very addicting, especially when they're stressed. They have too much nervous energy in their bodies, too much tension. They need to release it. And they use sex as a release in that way. But here's the difference between that and the non-ejaculatory orgasm. There's no release of energy. The energy is just moving throughout your body. It's building and it's building. You're exchanging it with your partner. It balances the energy out. So it's not like there's no sense of satisfaction at the end. I feel very, very satisfied after these types of orgasms and have no desire to ejaculate, but there's not that release of energy. I'm often feeling extremely energized after this type of experience. I feel very relaxed, very open, very connected and creative. You often want to create something after this. You want to write a song, paint a picture, or go create something, or just tell your partner how much you love them, how much you appreciate them. So these are the types of experiences that I've had with these orgasms. They're very healing, they're very empowering, and really life-changing. And it's something that I hope every man in this world gets a chance to experience. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you've been inspired to seek out a new type of experience of sexuality. If you want to learn how to have these full body orgasms, check out my 6-week course, Multi-Orgasmic Man. It goes way into depth on how to prepare the body to handle a higher charge of sexual energy without ejaculating, have complete ejaculatory control, and of course have full body non-ejaculatory orgasms. Check out more information in the description of this video. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment below. Have you ever had a non-ejaculatory orgasm, and what did it feel like for you? Have a great day, my friends.